So finally, for our final segment of today's program before our lunch, I'm really excited to bring up some badass burners who are going to take us on a tour of Black Rock City. Please welcome Dr. Dilemma, Apollo, and Dad Joke.
Oh, that's the first slide. Who knew?
Hey folks, I'm Dr. Dilemma from Paradise Motel, along with my campmates. Press the button again. Hello? It's green on.
Hello.
Hey.
All right. Hi, I'm Reed, and I'm also known as Apollo. And I'm Mark's co-lead, and this is Will, also known as Dad Joke.
But I'm on my best behavior today.
And we're here to show you examples of how camps of all sizes have created beautiful frontages, compelling streetscapes, and share tips and tricks that other camps have sent in for y'all. And we're going to share our camp's 10-year journey from a 12-person idea to a 200-person alum camp that has become a staple of the neighborhood.
So first, we want to talk about what is placement looking for with camp frontages. So the theme camp application actually says camps should be visually stimulating, have an inviting design, and a plan for bike parking and crowd management. Your camp must welcome everyone in Black Rock City with an obvious entrance and frontage along the streets. And while this is a really great line, it doesn't actually tell you how to do that. So we, along with some submissions from some of you lovely folks, are here to help you get a grasp on it.
But before we do that, we're going to share some super common things that we've all seen that you should not do. So one thing that's really, really common is people plan their plot around a central point, right? And then everybody sort of gathers around that. We call that the campfire shape. That's great if you're camping in the woods, but on the playa, it just means you're showing your backsides to everyone, and not in the fun way.
Right. Dad joke. So we prefer something called of a more divided space, and we call it the restaurant setup, where you kind of have a front of house that is open to all of your guests and everyone that you're inviting in, and then you have the back of house that's reserved for only your camp's members. Yeah. So, what are these crazy things to be avoided?
All right, so we're going to start with the dreaded RV fortresses.
Ooh, boo,
Boo!
hiss.
Oh, I love you all. Yes. Okay, so this is rows of RVs or buses parked along the street and blocking off access to your camp. And as you can see, they are not visually stimulating. Of course, you're also likely to see rows of hexayurts or what else do we have? Yeah, carports. Or, the prefab.
Portable houses.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not actually saying that you can't use any of these structures in your camps, but you should put them in the back of house area of the restaurant. You could also come up with creative solutions to sort of disguise them, right? You could make an otherwise uninteresting structure beautiful with a mural or art, or you could make the front of house so amazing and compelling that nobody notices the back of house. So right, you could be like big imagination, and you could bring a 747 to the playa, or Dive Bar does a submarine. Oh my God, amazing.
Dante's Inferno has a great, amazing art structure in the front. And look how Destiny Lounge lights up at night. You don't even know that they have a back of house.
Right. Standing Rock Camp with Red Lightning Village, they have this amazing structure here. You look at these and you think, oh my God, my camp could never do that. It's important to realize you don't have to do it all in one year, all at one time, and you can grow over time. We'll
so
just go to
we
us.
would like to use our humble example of Paradise Motel, of how you can slowly build, refactor, try things out, see what works, see what doesn't, see what you always need to do better next year, and then until you have a camp that even the noted photographer Philip Glade notices.
So let's take a look at the 10 years our camp has been building, adding, making lots of mistakes, and trying again.
And again, we want to stress that you don't have to be a large camp to do this. You don't have to make it visually interesting. You can make it visually interesting with very few campers. You can be small in numbers and budget. You just need to be creative with your materials and resources. So our first year in 2008...
For our first year at American Dream, a small group of friends who had been to a couple of burns together decided to try making a themes camp. we had a concept of creating a kitschy roadside motel with a courtyard pool, neon sign, flamingos, and palm tree. We used pictures like these of old motels inspiration and designed a logo from which we had a sign created. Now, I'm almost embarrassed to show you this, but here's our first year. Bless our hearts. We tried, we put up our sign, of course, some flamingos, and we got inflatable palm trees and solar lights. But unfortunately, if you remember, 2008 was very windy, and almost everything got blown down by the end of the week, especially the parachute we used for shade.
So 2009, right? We added an old RV, and we painted her pink, and the USS Nancy Reagan was christened. Yeah, she's so good. But other than that sort of L-wire neon sign, everything was still sort of blah, and especially the sort of tarp that we had between the RVs was kind of a saggy mess, which, you know, no judgment.
So then in 2011, we got a shade structure, and we can't tell you what a difference that made. We highly recommend to every camp that you get a sturdy steel-framed shade structure. Then we also added some LED rope lights around our palm trees, which we again reformatted. We tried this almost every year. We put some fairy lights on the outside of the shade structure, and then we had nighttime illumination.
Okay, so 2012, 2013. The solar lights that you saw there at the front, they always get kicked over by sort of everyone. So we had the great idea in 2012 to make flags. This is just rebar in the playa, PVC pipe as a flagpole over that, the flags attached, and then we had the good idea to put those solar lights on the top. So it's a really cheap way to add some flair, establish your boundaries, and provide...
Comfort and Joy does a really great job of
yes,
this as well.
Our drag
They're kind of
mother
iconic
can.
for that.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a second. We also added in 2013, we added a geodesic dome. There she is. But we just swagged some pink, always pink decor on it. If you're going to put up a structure like that, you know,
make it pink.
Stand out.
So then in 2014, this is the year that we really kind of stepped up our decorations to create a more inviting and interesting frontage. Curb appeal really sells your experience. And I want to reiterate that slow growth isn't a bad thing. It took us 5, almost 6 years of slow growth and trying things and really working on our infrastructure before we could really focus on decor. And then as we grew from almost 12 members to almost 50 members at the Burn, we had more hands to do more work, and we could begin to focus more on different things, things other than just basic necessities. So this year we dyed our drab beige tent pink, because always pink. We again refactored our palm trees, trying to get them brighter and lighter. And then we made lots of Playatech furniture, and we really support the idea of Playatech. It folds down easy. You can paint it a bright pop of color, and it's easy to make lots and lots and lots of bike racks there. We added Frontage fabric and re-swagged it across the front shade structure, giving us an instant, and I might say cheap, bright pop of color. And this was actually a big step for us in creating what we have our brand. What had been a kind of memorable camp for giving away snow cones became, oh, you're the pink camp in the neighborhood that gives away snow cones. I showed you my junk.
He did. He showed us his junk. So now in 2015, we started to grow a little bit. We've hit our cap of campers per year. For us, that's around 50. And so with more hands, you know, you can kind of divide and conquer. Some people focus on building infrastructure. Some people focus on decor, gifting, interactivity. You can kind of divide the labor. 2015, we again redid the palm trees.
Redid the palm trees every
It's
year,
a
man.
theme.
They just never worked. It was so bad.
2016, we replaced the flags again. The fabric we had used was fine, but we upgraded to ripstop, which was longer lasting. And I think, yeah, there she is. And then I think we have a...
And then we...
Oh, yeah. There they are. This is us struggling to learn how to, you know,
We also
use
grew
electricity.
taller that year. We added feather flags on top of our shade structure, which you could see from far away, which was pretty great. And then 2017, right? No? Yeah.
So yeah, again, slow growth, stick with your theme, add year by year, and refactor as you go.
So in 2017, we really hit our stride, and we started understanding just how much we could grow with our decor and our infrastructure each year. We upgraded our original neon sign that had served us faithfully for many years. Now, we'd always wanted and dreamt to have a spectacular Motel Road sign. So using the Flamingo Motel sign as a model, we spent weeks crafting and shaping, and behold, Carol the Flamingo was born.
Carol.
A burner from back in the 90s made the neon signs for us, so thank you, Sanford. And now our new neon sign lights up the entire street, even... And I want to say that you could see that even through the giant dust storms of that year. We added even more fabric everywhere fabric, and then again we refactored the palm tree. They finally worked for the entire week this time, and we were so proud.
Yeah.
And here's the final result after 10 years of trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. So slow growth is a thing. It's okay to fail. She said it great earlier. It's okay to fail. Keep trying.
For 10 years.
Okay.
Over and over.
Enough about us.
Yeah.
Enough about us. It's time to take a look at the tips and tricks that other camps have sent in. When you hear your camp name, please stand up. And now, this is why we asked you to bring a headlight. So use your headlight, and when you see someone standing up from a camp near you, use a little spotlight on them. The idea is that when we break for lunch, you saw something really interesting in their camp, run up to them and said, hey, how'd you do that? Talk to me about it. All right, here we go.
All right, let's start with 8-Bit Bunny. They used a non-standard shade structure, and what they mean by that is not carports or BlackRock hardware stuff, and it more than doubled their traffic. People go to camps with interesting shit.
Next is Ali Barbar. Ali Barbar's Bedouin tent has really warm lighting and inviting decorations. It's got a 12-foot Stargate at the street frontage and is brightly flashing and synchronized to their music. It attracts travelers from far at night who then get drawn into their warm, inviting tent.
Then we've got another example of slow growth. This is BRC 3PO. The first year they could change the color and brightness of the sign, and then they upgraded. They began to run animations on it, and now the sign occasionally explodes with color and movement. They also have a light structure that really brings people in.
Next we have Camp DIY, and the core elements to their camp are the mist-cooled shade area where participants gather to learn and create. And now this structure has evolved to have 2 large entrances in front with a large print schedule in the middle and their giant distinctive sign up top, which is really noticeable.
This next one I'm a real fan of. This is Camp Corny. Yes, they built a flaming unicorn welcome arch that shoots 15-foot flames out the horns. I think actually we have a video.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So, curb appeal sells the experience, and that's the kind of thing that you drive by on your bicycle and you say, like, fuck, yeah, how did they make that? Like, I want to go play with them.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God.
Holy shit!
I almost fell off my bike.
So, we talked a little bit about comfort and joy earlier, and we said we'd get back to our drag mother camp.
We love you.
They're iconic flags. Now, their look is largely created by their resident artist, Chickpea, who is best known for his day glow art, and that really comes to life at night. They use they have strategic use of black lights and place them around their courtyard and their perimeter, and they use reflective day glow fabric and paint, and it creates a really visually enticing setup.
Next we have Cult of the Magic Lady. Anybody? Here we go. There we go. These street lights are what they use to really light up their camp at night, in addition to all the solar spotlights on the signage. The lights are solar and LED all at the same time. They don't like generators, and they only use a Jenny when the movie theater is up and running.
Next up is Diner Town. The big trick for them this year was that they constructed a lot of bike racks. They had 2 for visitors right close to the diner, and then they had a huge separate one closer and inside their camp. And not only did this clear space for people to get to the diner, but it helps bikes from falling over, which leaves stuff and things all over their space and reduces moo.
Okay. Elvis
got
Wedding
it.
Chapel, flags at Elvis Wedding Chapel. They attracted crowds and added flashes of color and movement by placing tall bamboo flagpoles with vivid hued pennants along the perimeter of our camp. Thank you for submitting that verbiage.
Next up is, still Elvis. Next
Yeah.
up is Entheos. I hope
Yeah.
I'm saying that right. They have an amazing fire art sculpture that frames the entrance to their camp, and that's a really great way to draw attention. Then they got these big 30-foot by 30-foot wind shelters surrounding fire pit gathering areas. This opens up to a huge communal courtyard, and then their Entheos stage. So it's a really warm and inviting space to come into.
And
All right,
that
this next one's
40-foot
really
tall heart
cute.
leads you in from wherever you are.
Look at that.
Next, Hotel California. This is really cool. They prototyped their layout with toys and paper models. Yes. And then Jenny, who maybe that was Jenny, their resident architect, yes, created a 3D model in Sketch that then was printed out as IKEA directions, which I think is amazing. Yes. They plan different camp layouts, and then when they get to Playa, depending on where they've been placed, they adjust as needed. They make the decision immediately. This thing in the corner, by the way, they wanted to mention is from what they call a failed art project, so recycle, reuse, find a place for it.
Next up is Humano, and they have got a really interesting frontage. It's really unique. They're all builders and they love bamboo, so they've made most of their public areas out of bamboo and metal hardware. Last year they had 4 big bamboo structures, and this year they're going to have 6. And it's important to note that the giant bamboo spider was originally going to be an art project for Deep Playa, but they didn't submit on time. So then it became an iconic frontage, which really did help to draw campers in.
This is Octopus Garden. They built a custom pole structure and used colored shade sails, both for shade and appeal, and then, of course, those giant inflatable tentacles.
Next up is Okay Not Okay. Hello again, guys. They use their custom steel and wood structure, and they painted a really bright pop of color. And this is a great example of how just painting things a bright color can change the entire look.
Orphan Endorphin. Anybody know? Yeah, okay. Orphan Endorphin has grown, but they try to always build with simplicity. Lighting for the evening has always been the easiest and simplest enhancement. They find multiple color spots designed by their team, Ben Swanson and David Ease. I don't know if they're there. Make the camp look welcoming, and small lights are easy to pack.
Next up is Planned Playahood, which is a new name for them. Originally 2 camps that have fused together debauchery and cats. Their motto is unfuck your burn, which I love. What their big deal is activities, and they've used really an inventive frontage to create active and inviting things, just like
We're going to linger there.
their Planned Playahood sign. They have a color theme that goes through their logo, the sign that you just saw that brought them back to their birth canal experience. It incorporates the dome and really made a perfect use of that corner space that they had. And then they continue the same color theme at night, and they use that blue and purple lighting. It allows the artwork to be lit up and be seen from several blocks away. And also they have these giant 3 art pieces, which are great hippie traps.
Get trapped. Next up, Root Pile. Their mission is to bring hillbilly food and what they call positive aspects of Southern culture to the playa. They focus on live bluegrass music. They schlep all their stuff 2,800 miles across the country. Yeah, let's see. We've got a video, I think.
Yeah. Oh, we had a video.
We had a video.
Before we
Just
get there,
rest assured.
this is it. Let's do
There
it.
we go. Yeah, they have these platforms. So we've got CNC cut metal signs with robe lights. Yeah. Anyway, it's
They
awesome.
also had a great idea to use vinyl tarps, vinyl backdrops for photographers to make giant sections colorful, which I loved for them. Next up is Sextant. By day, which is awesome. By day, they offer free-for-all vertical jungle gym atmosphere to explore. They try to avoid using anything that's off the shelf, which is really great. They use unique engineering solutions, and they prefer to design and make their own structures. And by night, they use the all-amazing electricity and fire and LEDs and heat and, of course, alcohol to lure in everyone like moths to the flame. They do a great job of being super interactive and super colorful.
Okay, Shipwreck Tiki Lounge at 7:30 Portal. They use a lot of blacklight effects to draw people into their frontage. In 2017, yeah, they had, that's actually a semi-trailer, but if you disguise it and you zhuzh it up, you'd never really know.
And there are simple ways to do things and make it really attractive, you know.
Yeah, simple is best. This is their first year. It's modular. Again, whatever their placement happens to be that year, that's where the entrances can live. And I think that's our slides.
Yeah, that was it. The end, you guys.
I'd like to thank everyone who sent in their pictures and their 250 character, haha, if you saw their notes, had to cut out a lot of stuff. I'm sorry we had to do that for brevity. Look for these folks at lunch and ask them, how did you do all this amazing stuff? So thank you, folks. And thanks you,
Al.
Philippe Glade, for the pictures he let us use for the presentation.